Did we go live? I think we're live. We're live. All right. Hey. Okay. Hey, guess what? I'm your host, Lee Calcote. I'm one of the maintainers, and hopefully there will be other maintainers or other people speaking up so you don't have to hear me the whole time. It might be like torture. But this is a Meshery meeting, Meshery development meeting. So we meet once a week. We meet on Wednesdays about this same time for a long time. We record our meetings and put them on YouTube. So if you enjoy a joke, you can always go back and listen to it again and again. It gets funnier. It gets worse probably every single time. Uh, if you're on the call, please do drop your name in here. Hussein can tell you that we frequently talk about the end of the year raffle that we do for $1 gazillion. That's a real number, by the way. And then we just pick your name out of the hat and we hand out about $1 gazillion a year. But if your name isn't in there, then we can't give you a gazillion dollars. Who knows how big a gazillion is? Sounds larger than, sounds large, or it sounds completely made up. Maybe that's what it sounds like. All right. Okay. See, told you the jokes. You can just go back, listen to them. They'll. Okay. So please do drop your name in. We are Meshery, by the way. Most of you are familiar. Most of you on the call, I think I've got something to talk about, actually. So a lot of you are pretty familiar with the project, but if you're new to it, it's a CNCF project. It's a sandbox project currently. It's last time it was measured, it's the sixth fastest moving project in the CNCF. So there's a couple hundred, 234, 237 projects in the CNCF. This is the sixth fastest moving, highest velocity. So that's really neat. That also is a little bit potentially, well, depends on how you look at it, potentially a little bit scary to the extent that part of how that velocity is measured is part of it is number of new contributors. Some of it is number of commits or amount of code being moved around. And the more that you move around code, the higher the likelihood for a bug. And so a lot of you are probably working on bugs. And so it's good to be fast moving. It can also potentially mean bugs. We need to squash and kill those things. I don't know if some of you realized it, but part of your current titles outside of contributor or maintainer or something might also be exterminator, as in bug exterminator. So please, if that's you, wear it proudly because we need to kill the bugs around here. Okay. Good. I think those are like a lot of the housekeeping notes. So it sounds like from all of you, we'll have one more meeting before the end of the year on the 31st. So if you don't have a life and you're not out celebrating New Year's Eve, then just like me, maybe you'll be here lifeless with me and talking about what we think we can do next year. That's probably something that we should list down. If someone has a better suggestion than this, please say so. But I'll suggest that for the New Year's Eve edition of this meeting, that we take a look at what 2026 looks like, and that we do a bit of roadmap planning. And that in order to do that successfully, we probably need to put in a little bit of work between now and then to give people some time to think about what that roadmap looks like. It's a really important roadmap for 2026 because Meshery would hit 1.0 in this next year. And well, that's a big fat milestone. We've been chasing it down and we're almost there. Can anyone else think of agenda items that we might have for next week? Could be a discussion about process changes, maybe. Outside, the roadmap should improve or should include those sorts of things as well. Those process changes can be things like, should we meet once a week? Is that too little? Is that too much? Should we have a different type of agenda in our meetings? So kind of left unto its own, you can see that the organic or like an organically formed agenda looks like this. Here's a random sample of what that agenda might look like without a ton of forethought and like intention behind what the specific topics are. So we have in the past had different types of meetings. This is the Meshery dev meeting. So it makes tons of sense that we're talking about issues and pull requests, sure. But potentially, just to give an example of some things that maybe people would want to talk about over here, because some of the maintainers that are on the call, they'll have some perspective for this, and they might not be getting as much as they possibly could out of this meeting and its current format. It might be that we should have like 3 of these meetings a month, and the 4th meeting should be planning or process or discussion or should be reserved for like functional specification review. So if we're planning out a decent sized feature, or maybe just planning on refactoring how we approach testing or something like that, like that we would have a dedicated meeting times for not just making the sausage, which is sort of what this is, to use a metaphor. This is really excellent, and we'll talk through each of these. These are all important. If we don't do these, we're not making anything, but we also need some room and some space for deeper thought just on a single topic to be able to discuss how it is that a certain feature or function works in Meshery. So anybody have thoughts on this?
It's actually a great idea to actually add another day of weekly meetings because it's mostly doubts and a few this. It would be better if the maintainers specifically have something to, you know, give out on that specific new day you are talking about.
Yeah, it could look like potentially this same meeting, same time, but potentially with sometimes we'll have a standing agenda, or we'll have maybe a structured um, um, bit of time where maybe the first half of the meeting is dedicated toward a specific topic, or the second half, and that topic could be kind of like Jeet was saying. Um, yeah, it just either a topic from a maintainer, and it could be different things. Sometimes it's just like a maintainer talking in depth about an area that they're working on. And that gives everyone else an opportunity to understand that area, and gives them an opportunity to collaborate, sort of pick off pieces of what that person is saying to jump in and assist and participate. So yeah. Yeah, there's some things to think about. I got a new keyboard recently, and been typing on keyboards for, I don't know, for a few decades. And when I get a new one, I still fumble all over it. So it's pathetic. Sad. Okay. Anybody have anything before we jump into the first item? Good. Good. Okay. All right. Well, Miss Suhani and Ronak, you guys are up. You guys want to take us through this item? Yeah, that'd be
Hi
great.
everyone.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. All right, please. Yes. Suhani, I shouldn't have interrupted. Yeah, please go ahead. So you guys are taking let me do it for you. You guys are taking a look at a topic that has to deal with um, checks, lint checks, ES lint checks that are performed every single time a pull request is opened. We run a series of checks to ensure that as each of us contribute code, that we're having some consistent conventions. Maybe we use similar variable names, or we all use spaces, not tabs, or tabs, not spaces, or whatever it is. So these ESLint checks run. And Sohani and Ronak, you guys are looking at improving this process.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are working on it.
Shani, can you go ahead and explain what we are doing with the
Yeah,
PR?
sure. So this PR address a failure in our ESLint CI workflow for the fork-based pull request where workflow was incorrectly attempt to autofixes and commit codes during PR validation. Earlier, our ESLint workflow worked like this. GitHub Action starts a workflow, code checkout on GitHub, sorry, ESLints run on Meshery UI and the provider UI. Then ESLints find those issue and try to auto fixes them and commit those changes to the PR. So here the CI was doing both the checking the code and fixing the code. So what problem we have faced here? Many contributor like us, we do PR from our fork repos. But in case of GitHub Action, we only have read-only token that doesn't allow us to push our commits, but our workflow still try to do that commit ESLint fixes and push them to PR branch. So that's why workflow failed with errors. And even worse, ESLint actually passed, but CI failed because it tried to committed it. So here, the real issue is not the ESLint or not the GitHub actions. The real problem was CI was trying to modify the code that it shouldn't done. It just validate or report error. So how we fix that? Mm. So how we fix that? As Lee, you have suggested us to do all the ESLint checks on the local level rather than CI changes the code after the PR. According to that, we are adding here pre-commit hook using Husky. What it does? It just ESLint run locally on the code before any commit was performed on both the UI and the provider UI before you commit those changes. So now bad code never gets committed. Developer push a clean and linted code here.
Yeah, can you also go through the files change?
Yeah, I'm doing that. Okay. So in the workflow, we have just changed this. We are running here the make target files, not specifying all these here, just doing abstraction and all to make things look simple. And here we have changed, what we have changed here, we have passed conditional fixes. Whenever we want to fix, we pass true check here. So when we pass true, the ESLint only those time fixes those changes. And in this provider UI package.json, in the prepare script, we are not just checking ESLint because we don't need this in Docker builders. And this is the main logic we have added in the pre-commits. We are just fetching the root repo and run all these fixes, all these we are running make target file here and passing true to fix. That means we want to change our whatever error we have in the files. So this will fix here only, not
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
CI
So
level.
to interrupt a little bit, just because
No.
to help speed things up, there's two big questions from or yeah, two things that I would say is one is to invert the fix equal true, rather to have fix the default and auto fix be the default and not fix be the other one. You know, so that you have to specify not to fix. In the workflows, we would specify don't fix. But when someone runs the make commands interactively, they would be automatically fixing. That's something to think about. The next question that I have highlights the trade-off as you think about whether or not auto fixing is enabled by default or not. It takes a little extra time, I think, to run. Well, I don't know that auto fixing takes any more time than just running the lint check. So,
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
I've tried running the pre-commit hooks locally. They don't take much of time, and we also
That's
have
not the,
config.
yeah, but that's not the
Yeah.
question though, right? That's not the question. The question is whether or not auto fix takes more time. And what you said
Uh,
was linting doesn't take more time.
okay. So are you talking about two flags? Like, what was the first question? Can you give that again?
Yeah, don't actually just keep the comment to yourself for the moment, because you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm talking about fixing versus linting. If you run the ESLint, it takes longer to perform a commit, or it takes longer to build the UI in this case. If you run ESLint, it's just an additional process that performs those checks. So it takes a little bit longer. Whether or not you choose to include the fix flag when you run ESLint, I don't think that the fix flag specifically really takes any longer than just running lint, because it
Mhm.
identifies the issues and it can either fix them extremely fast or not.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I think it takes similar time.
Good. So that leads us to the second question. This is more for probably Ian, maybe Husseina. It's the idea, the proposal that's being made here is to introduce the Meshery's, at least for the Meshery repo, its first git commit hook. So a pre-commit hook that would run linting each time that you attempted to make a git commit. It is doing so before a pull request is made can be helpful to eliminating kind of back and forth on failed build checks. The build checks, conceptually would succeed more frequently because some of those
Mhm.
lint concerns would be addressed beforehand, before the person is allowed to make the commit. The downside to a pre-commit hook, there's a couple of downsides maybe. One is every single time that you go to make a commit, you have to wait for the ESLint checks to run, and it takes a while to do that. And for me, for my part, I make many commits a day. And my poor little nerves get like, it takes a while, and it's frustrating to me to sit there and hold my attention that long to wait for the ESLint check to run. So that's
Mhm.
just a point of consideration. The other point of consideration for Ian and Husseina to think about is the notion that there's some amount of software that needs to be installed on every contributor's machine in order to run the pre-commit hook. So that would be things like ESLint, Husky, and maybe just those two things. I'm not sure. So for Suhani and Ranak, what does that look like? How does that software
That's
get?
that's the prepare script. So we are. Can you show the comments, Ani, for the pull request? So whenever we just go to the pull request and scroll to the comment section.
Okay.
So whenever we go to the provider UI or UI directory, we just hit npm install for package.json. And after we do npm install, it by default run a prepare script that we are mentioning in the prepare script that initialize the Husky. So whenever a developer installs the local dependencies, it will automatically install Husky in its local machine. Uh, the comments once, Mani. Conversation.
Does this only lint the files that you changed or the entire project?
It will change all the it will change the lint. It will run the linter on the UI and the provider UI directory, not nothing else. Yeah, this one. So whenever we run the prepare script, it gets run by default when we hit npm install, which configures Husky to use the hooks from the UI/Husky directory rather than to using the default git/hooks, and then it automatically checks for it.
I think just to kind of piggyback off what Lee said, if we're making a change, in one file, we probably shouldn't progressively lint like the entire project. And that might speed up. That might be a nice trade-off to only lint the files that you changed. And I think Husky has some way of determining
Well,
that. I would have to look at what the tooling has to do that. But then you don't have to lint the entire thing, I guess. And maybe in CI we lint the entire project, but on pre-commit we only lint the files that the developer changed. Again, there might be some nuance there to discern.
Yeah, I think we can do that. We can just link the staging files that we add to the staging area that will minimize the overhead for not linking the whole project.
Nice. Husseina also has, man, I'm glad I called out, but there's a reason why Ian and Husseina are both maintainers. Both of them called out, like, I mean, things that, for my part, that I would stand behind and put a +1 behind. So, I mean, to discredit Ian, he's saying something fairly obvious, which is like, hey, shouldn't we just, lint the files that were changed, not everything
Mm.
else? And like that assuages my concern about my ADD getting the best of me while I'm sitting there trying to wait for the git commit command to like lint everything that doesn't need to be linted anyway. So if you're keeping pace, Ronak, I know it's difficult sometimes when I'm like sliding in sarcasm in between what I'm saying, is that, yeah, we want to make sure that what Ian just said is enforced here before we accept this PR. Husseina's point that she made in chat, yeah, what, Ronak?
Yeah, I will be modifying the PR to run the linter only on the staged files.
Awesome. Before we get to Husseina's point, Suhani, do you know of the Husky installer that happens? It sounds like it happens during just your regular contribution of like doing npm install. Wonderful. That installer, who has written that? Does that come from Husky?
Can you repeat your question?
How does Husky get installed? Who wrote the installer? Is that from the Husky project itself?
No, I didn't know much about it.
Okay.
It's
Ronak?
a it's we just write Husky and in the script, and that's where Husky get installed, and it initializes a .husky directory in the root of the project. So that's what the prepare script is doing. So to answer the question, I think we are providing the Husky command to install it.
Okay. I mean, if we're the ones that have written the Husky installation, that's a concern to me because we don't want to be responsible for that. We want for the Husky project itself says, here's how you should install it. And we should be following whatever that is.
They have written what the command is. It's the Husky install command previously, but install was deprecated. So we just write Husky and then the name of the directory after suffix.
Yeah, I know. We're miscommunicating again. you're talking about how to run Husky, and I'm talking about like you can't run the command Husky unless you have Husky installed. I'm talking about how to get Husky installed. So long as we're not
Oh yeah.
writing the installation scripts, that's all right. So on to Husaina's comment, she was pondering whether or not we might just, on schedule, run autofix across the repo, and that makes sense. That'll help eliminate some build checks, and it only helps. It doesn't hurt anything. And there could be some automatically fixable lint checks that just get through the system one way or the other. Somebody does a no verify on their commit or
Mhm.
however they get in there. So
Also, another question, on the ESLint rules, are we changing them or how are we going about like setting standard on? I know there was some rules around that. Is there a proposal to change things or?
So currently the workflow is running fine as someone pushed a PR to remove the commit action, and it just validates the code. And we were supposed to like we were thinking to keep it as it
Ronak,
is.
I'm gonna interrupt, man, and just you gotta know that's the answer to Ian's question,
Okay.
right? Is that correct? It's
We are keeping the workflow same. That's what I'm trying to say.
You're not making it the same because you're not changing it. So in both
Yeah.
cases, you're providing a confusing response. When I said, is that correct? You say yes. When Ian says, are you changing the rules? You say no. Okay, good. You guys got some good feedback. Let's go to the next agenda item. Thanks a bunch, Ian and Hussein. That really helped. All right, Miss
You
Kavita.
can call me Kavita. Yeah, no issues.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I want to add an extra K. There's enough Ks in there already, but I just want to put another one right there for some reason.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe you can shorten it to KK for your convenience.
It's cool. KK, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so this one, should I be actually sharing the screen? It's just a small change that I did. Because I was actually looking through the documentation and then checking at the hyperlink, which hyperlink is for the shields, which is actually there for the the organization level Meshery. They were actually broken. Whenever we actually access it, it was actually showing this error. So I have made a fix, um, which I can actually show you through the files. Um, One second, share files changed. If I go to my own file here, you can actually see that the shields are actually showing exact issue properly. The error is issue is resolved. Um, I got that issue resolved through changing the URLs. Previously, it was actually using uh, query to multiple aux in the URL query. So that has some issue. So what I did was like for each of the respective repositories, I changed the URL to Meshery issues question mark and then applied the changes here, made it much more simple for each of them, whether it is mesh sync, Meshery operator, and all. And towards the end, there was actually one more place where the query was not working. Um, it was because of using org Meshery, and I changed it to has org Meshery or has org service, and it is also working fine. So this is a simple PR. I thought like I'll just share it here so that this can be actually further checked. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, it makes me
Thank
wonder
you.
if that was just a one-time issue, or I wonder if you were to do just a spot check on one or two of the other repos, for the same, to see if we have a broken hyperlink consistently.
In the
That'd be,
README files, like what we see there, so that, yeah, I'll do that. Ashish.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there was something like a Gemini Code Assist told me that the last hyperlink might not actually work because of the documentation it was actually referring to on searching issues. But I checked with changing some of them back to org instead of hash org, and you can actually see that the issue is coming back if I am trying to
Oh,
use orgs while doing a multi-org search. So yeah, we cannot actually. I mean, it's good that you actually include Gemini code assist so that initial round of review is actually done, but we cannot actually say that it is 100% perfect. This is an example of that.
oh, no. What are you saying? The LLMs hallucinate? The LLMs.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I have actually worked for using some code assist from GitLab in my previous organization, and we had actually found out that it used to actually give so many, you know, code review comments, but some of them we still had to manually check whether that is actually persistent or not. And often, sometimes it will actually come up with subtle issues like this. I think they are also still learning. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't mean that we have to be kind to them, though. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, totally. Well, very good. Yeah, this is great. Oops. Thanks for catching that. Thanks for fixing it. And actually, thanks for pointing out that, hey, you can't just blindly trust what the LLMs say, like for sure. That brings up, I'm going to put that as a note here. It might be that the topic of AI and LLMs and how, I hesitate, and there's a number of things, and like how we use them, don't use them, etc. Like this might be a topic that we want to discuss about what that looks like going forth. And so I'm just
While we are
noting.
at it, I was thinking whether we should actually move the other backlog also to the next agenda, which I had actually added because I am new to the project and I wanted to know about the coding guidelines, but I don't know where exactly it is actually written down. So if we don't have anything, maybe perhaps it is worth writing it down. Uh,
Yeah. Do you mean, yeah, there are, or
because we
rather,
use
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Sorry for interrupting. That's because we use actually a couple of languages, and each one of them would actually have some set of guidelines that we would actually like to follow. For example, if you are using Python, you will actually go for the PEP and what is actually documented there. Uh, for Golang, also there is actually something which comes from a coder or Golang official site, I believe. Uh, Jekyll, I'm actually new to that, so I don't know much about that. So, do you have anything like that as specific place where you can actually even give hyperlinks to the coding guidelines? Because uh, it would be actually nice to actually have a similar, way in which we actually code as a developers. Multiple people will be coding, and we should not be having different styles of coding. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm taking some notes here. There, I'm taking some notes here for you in specific to follow up on. I think, and like to answer the question briefly, there's quite a few contributor guidelines or guides, contributor guides, and whether and how specific some of these contributing guides get into coding convention, coding style, and spaces and tabs and all, just like the ton. There are, I think it's a great question. It's the right thing for you to answer because, at least from my perspective, I won't, you'll be able to see the answer much more clearly because it'll all be fresh to you. And you'll say, yeah, we don't talk about it at all over here. Or we talked about it a little bit there, and we didn't really get specific. Or we talked about style a ton and the conventions and etc. And yet there's no enforcement of it in the lint checks or vice versa. There's tons of enforcement in lint check, but we didn't even talk about it. So people didn't know what to expect. And like, yeah, it's a good topic. So I'm just taking some notes. I'm putting this link to this top level guide. It might be something that others want to volunteer to engage with Kavitha on and help, identify whether or not we've been specific about, yeah, coding convention. This, to be circular in our conversation, I'll pull our thoughts back to this for a moment and say, hey, if we're trying to harness some new tooling and take advantage of new tooling like Gemini, for just a random example, then and Gemini is coming over telling us that we should change it like this and it should look like that. Well, what is Gemini basing its counsel on or its feedback on? Hopefully, we'd be basing it on coding conventions that we've identified that we're using. But if we don't have those in place, then how can it tell it? And so, yeah, we need to, like, in order for us to make excellent use of some of these, we need to be really specific about. So some of us, and maybe I won't steal Charan's thunder. Charan, you've done a little bit of work with, the definition of a couple of custom coding agents. Maybe you could talk about that in just a little bit. So in between that time, I think, so thanks a bunch, Kavitha. That's great. Those are great. And looks like you took away more homework than you than you delivered, but
Glad to be of help. Thank you.
yeah, it's good. All right, Shrikant, I think you're up.
Yeah. Hello everyone. I will just share the screen.
All right.
Is it visible now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Shrikant, you don't have to ask. Somebody will complain if you don't share. So
Yeah.
you just
Sure.
jump right in.
Yeah. So my PR fixes the issue. Previously, when the adapter was loaded or unloaded, just a toaster UI notification was set up basis of the HTTP request was successful or unsuccessful, and also there were no details like version number or manifest of the loaded plugin. But what I have done like this is the locally running. If I remove the and try to connect again, now it's showing that console adapter. Now also the name is also showing and the version of the PR of the adapter. And in the notification center you can see more details about like manifest, and it is also categorized on the basis of different fields like manifest, custom operations, custom sample, like this. You can also see for the link ID, uh, yeah, like this. And also when we try to configure same on the same URL, it also gives now an adapter is already configured at local host 101. Talking about the file changes that I have made, simply I have used the event object when the adapter is loaded or there is an error in loading adapter. So this I wrote a custom function to categorize, and here is the event object. Here I'm building with some user ID and system ID, and when if there is any error, Yeah, if I run, it is just been put it there. Yeah.
Nice.
Do
Hey,
you have any
that
question?
custom error that you build out, is that in the Meshery repo?
I have built a custom a function to categorize the manifest.
To categorize the
Yeah, I
manifest
will
of
show.
operations that the adapter offers?
Yeah, like this. Previously,
Okay,
if I
gotcha.
use
Yeah,
only
I got you.
the
I got you. I got you.
yeah
Yep. I'm
yeah
just looking for yes or no. Yep. Great. Do you good? And then when you refresh the screen, do we get the same notifications again?
yeah sure. Also, there was some bug for. I'll just refresh the screen.
By
Yeah,
the way,
here
on
are the all
that
the
issue that you
notifications.
just saw a second ago, the issue that you just saw a second ago where you couldn't load the screen because that route wasn't supported, maybe.
Yeah,
There is a gentleman on the call, goes by the name of Daniel. Daniel Apiwe, Apipoe, Apipoe. Damn it, Daniel. Daniel, this might be something that it looked like you were quite capable of assisting inside of Meshery UI. That particular Shrikant, can you send to Daniel that URL and maybe he can help ensure that all of our routes are supported?
okay, sure.
Uh, yeah, that would be, just in case he.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. And then so good. There's a um hmm. You were saying that you took care of the extra notifications that happen whenever you refresh the screen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And how have you taken care of that?
I have simply used the pre-built event object. So whenever the if an adapter fails to load, the event object is built, and at the end, it is published. Like I'll show.
No, wait, I don't get how are you preventing the same successful notification from being shown many times over?
uh, for the UI part.
Yeah. Hmm.
So the previously there were if adapter was loaded, just a toaster notification was given. But what I have done, these notifications are by the way are sent to the notification center, so there are no duplicate.
Okay, can you go back to your UI for a moment and press
Yeah,
refresh?
yeah. That's
Okay, are your adapters running right now?
yeah, they are running.
Okay, and your Meshery server is running?
Yeah,
Okay, great. And when you press refresh,
it's failing to load.
okay. Anyway, you need to, I'm not sure how you would handle that without making changes uh, without making changes that you're not describing. Like, how are you ensuring that they're not coming through every single time that someone refreshes the Meshery UI, Meshery server will reconnect
Mm,
with all of its adapters.
yeah,
And so,
I will
and so,
look into that.
okay. But I mean, I pointed it out earlier. You said that you've taken care of it. And so that's what I'm asking is like, how have you taken care of it?
So the notification are for the local provider. The notification are saved in the database every time.
Yep.
The notification is broadcasted. It is persisted, and when the we are reloading, it only reloads from the database all the notifications. Like
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
I didn't get your question.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not so we don't have a lot more time. I'll say it again. When like here, I'm signed into the playground, right? Just a running instance of
Yeah.
Meshery. If this playground has adapters connected, which it doesn't seem to at the moment, if it does, it will I'll say it, I don't know how else to say it. Every single time that the UI is refreshed, Meshery server will go speak with and communicate with an adapter, all of the adapters that are connected. And it will refresh on their capabilities, on what operations they offer. And I'm saying there's a possibility that the notification that you're capturing and displaying, that it might be shown many times over. It just
No,
depends on how.
yeah. Just I got your question. What I have done when the I have just like put the event object when the APIs are calls for the connect and undeploy. So it is not directly no, the notification is not directly sent out when the is connected or undeployed. It is just sent when the connect we press the connect or undeploy buttons for that
Okay.
specific APIs.
Okay. And so then
Yeah.
you're on the JavaScript side, you're generating an event.
No, only on the server side. From the UI side, I have just removed the notifications, not anything else.
Okay. And so does this same behavior occur when you establish a connection using Meshery CTL? If you use Meshery CTL to connect an adapter?
No, not for Meshery CTL.
Okay, so you've tested it. That's why you're telling me now.
Yeah.
Shrikant,
I will try
that's
to add that to the
okay.
Meshery
Okay, but
CTL.
you just told me that you tested it, right? I said you tested it and you said, yeah.
For the UI part,
No, for the CLI, which is the question that I asked.
no,
If
not
we
for
can't,
CLI.
okay, we gotta have an open and honest relationship or we ain't gonna do anything together. Right? This
Yeah.
isn't a miscommunication. This isn't like I'm asking a weird question that's hard to understand. This is like, it's okay that you didn't look into the CLI. That's fine. That's what you say. I don't know. It's okay to say I don't know. Say it all the time. I say it all the time. But
No, I thought that you were asking about the UI.
no, you couldn't. How could you? Huh. Okay. Either way, it makes it really difficult for us to work together. Okay, we're at the top of the hour. Great. There are some things that weren't able to cover. Fixing lint. Great. Enable inline renaming of connections. Charan, you're not still with us, are you? No.
Hello. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yes. Yep. Enable. Is this something we need to talk about?
I mean, I just opened the PR, but uh, I'm not really sure if it works because I didn't test it properly. When I ran when I opened the UI, it said India
Uh-huh. Yep. Say it again.
access denied or something like that. When I tried to test the
Oh yeah.
code changes,
Yeah. Yeah. One step that you might be missing there, where you might get that access denied or kind of a weird message. You got that before you even made it into the UI. Is that right?
yeah,
Okay. It might.
just after opening
It is,
localhost.
it is likely the case that the provider UI that you haven't built the provider UI just yet. So there's the UI and then there's a super small provider UI. And you just want to make sure that you've built that other one as well.
So we need to run all of this first, the UI, then the provider, then also the backend, I think, right?
Yep. If
I mean,
yes, if you're walking through one of these contribution guides and it does not have the right steps in there, please call it out. Please, let's get it fixed. My hunch is that you're not that. Yeah, you probably most likely you just haven't built the provider UI
Yeah,
just
I
yet.
only just ran the UI, Meshery UI and Meshery backend. I did
Alrighty.
not run any provider.
Alrighty. And then for Hamani, she's got a Canvas tutorial up for Meshery Docs.
I
And
think I'll talk about it on 31st.
oh, okay. Okay. Good. Is this a new, you had one
Yeah,
recently?
I talked about it last time with Abid.
Oh, nice. Did that one is that one merged already and you're on to a new one?
It's not merged. I'm still waiting for Sangram to final review it.
Oh, okay. But you're
Yeah,
close. Okay. That's great. You're on to the next one then. Okay.
yeah.
Nice. Uh, yeah, great. And so Jeet, I'm just trying to push through, just trying to make sure that nobody has to really wait a whole week to get some amount of.
It's just a small little change I want to like ask your opinion on. I implemented the live mouse coordinate on the canvas. In this PR, the one you are currently seeing is basically the previous one, which had a fixed block of coordinates. But then Rajesh asked me to make it dynamic and move it along with the cursor. I have implemented the changes in my latest push. I just wanted to confirm that there's a slight delay I have added intentionally, which, if you allow me, I can show you what what's going on in locally.
Uh, yeah, I mean, either way works. Like this, that I mean,
No, that's not the current one actually.
yeah, yeah, I know, but I mean, I don't know who asked for it in the first place to show the coordinates, but like either way is fine. What you want to be able to do though is like allow users to turn it off in case they don't like it, especially if you've got it right on their mouse.
Oh, well, I can add that feature.
Cool. What's the use case for it though? Because if a
It-
user is able to draw, like mandate that the line is drawn straight and snap to point, then
Well,
the
in case
use,
you need to draw symmetrically, then you can look at those, refer those coordinates. Now, if
nice.
I'm overselling, then please correct me if I'm.
No, that use case makes sense to me. If you're trying to do something symmetric, like you've drawn a square that's 4 by 4 over here, and you want to do another square that's 4 by 4, like, yep, that validation can be very helpful.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask that what I've implemented, if it would be better if it's with a slight delay of zero point 0.5 some seconds, or it's completely, live along with the cursor, like without any delay.
I wonder if anyone else has, this is good question. Um, my recommendation is maybe to just you did some great before and after videos here. This is super helpful. What you might want to, I'm going to hesitate. I won't answer the question directly in part because I'll offer just one opinion and it'll be off the cuff. If you were to take a short recording and create a discussion forum thread, like and then point it out and get people,
A vote kind of a thing.
yeah, sure.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Or just a commentary, like asking them for opinions and perspective. But yeah, a vote would work.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, we're almost there. Okay, great. We've got an issue on is Dua here with us?
Yes, Lee. Hi.
Oh, hey,
So
there you are.
let me quickly wrap up the
Yeah,
same.
actually, no,
Yep.
no, no. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you said you were going to share. And I was like, well, we don't have time, but
Okay. So I raised this issue today, and in the issue, the Docker job dependencies are missing. That's why it's taking the 2x time in the building. building job. Uh,
Okay.
and and if you know about, if you remember about the uh, Slack thread, we talked about on a issue to fix this broken link in the framework. So you told that time to share a story.
Yeah.
That issue is fixed totally. Maybe Saurabh helped me to work on this issue, but I would like to know about the story
So what
on
was the fix?
31st.
Yeah, what was the fix?
Yeah, the broken link is Meshery.io, and I changed the link to layer5.io. So
Yeah, but I said not to do that.
Yeah,
I said not to do
sorry.
that, right? Yeah, but I had said
Uh,
not to do that. That's not the fix. That's inappropriate. This needs to be reverted.
okay,
Yeah, and I know it's confusing, and that's why I was gonna share a story about it, but we're
okay.
actually out of time. We're like over time to share the story.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, it's about 30 seconds. We don't want it to be a vendor specific reference. We want it to be vendor in specific. We're at a little bit of a challenge. Ideally, you could use just HTTP and discuss.meshery.io without the S. That will
Okay.
redirect. You'll need to be able to deal with the redirect, though. This script needs to be able to deal with the redirect.
Uh,
So that's about as concise as I can make it.
okay.
Good. Daniel, we've got an item from you.
Yes, so it's just about when you're clicking outside the sidebar or when you change the route. Yeah, the sidebar should be it should be hidden automatically when you are on small devices like phone or small tablet. So it's mainly about that.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, currently, is this the situation currently if your
Yeah, so
browser,
if you are there and you are on your phone, if even though you click outside of this now this sidebar, the sidebar cannot be going to his position to the initial position. But after when I try to do some change, when you click outside on when you change the path, then it's gonna close automatically.
so that's the behavior that you're ensuring happens, is that it's sort of
Yeah,
if the width of the window is smaller than a certain size, then you've updated the behavior to be like to say as a user, you're either inside of the menu and using it, the nav
yeah,
bar, or you're outside of it. And if you're outside of it, just auto close. Like
yeah,
that. It makes sense to me because if you only have this much space to work with, you're really only doing one thing. You're either in the menu or you're outside of it. So having it open probably doesn't, makes it just kind of makes it difficult. So
yeah.
I don't know if other people have a different perspective. Oops. But yeah, good. And so yeah, good. Small PRs are nice PRs, easier to review. And it's like, hey, if you're smaller than this, it looks like then you're going to go into that mode where the menu will auto close for you. That's kind of what the navigator will auto close. Good, man. This is great. And you're getting some feedback. This is wonderful. Good. Okay. Yeah, Daniel. Nice. It looks like you're going to be successful. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks a bunch, guys. I know that some of you didn't get all of your questions quite answered, but we got close. Do be loud in Slack or in the discussion forum if you didn't quite get all that you needed. Let's see if we can collectively give some thought as to what we might discuss at the very end of the year, this next Wednesday. Be good if we if we had some reflection, a little bit of reflection, but also some forward thinking as to how 2026 might shape up. So Anybody else have thoughts or questions before we wrap up today?
Yeah, question. As it's actually the holiday season, if we are not available, what's the usual procedure to let others know? Is it actually just the Slack status or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, the Slack status, like absolute that totally helps that big time. It's kind of funny because you wouldn't necessarily think so, but it does. We for some of the maintainers, there's a calendar that we ask them to just drop a note on, but yeah, for the occasionally people also just I encourage you all outside of Slack status to just send a note in Slack. I mean, I like for my part, I'll see it and many other people will as well. And the hope is that if someone's looking for you, someone else will point to your message saying, "Oh, they're out for this time." That's about as good as we've got, at the moment.
Okay. Can we use the general channel for
Yeah,
communications like that? Yeah. Okay.
sure.
Thank you.
That's great. It's really helpful too, because it can make the difference between, this contributor came over and had good intentions, volunteered to do something or is working on something, but they're nowhere to be found. It can make the difference between, they're not honoring their word versus like, oh, no, they're committed to doing it. They're just not available at the moment. So, and that's a big fat difference. So thanks for asking. It's really helpful. Anybody else? Well, Merry Christmas. Yeah.
Merry
Go and have a
Christmas.
Merry. Yeah.
Season's greetings, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Not here. It's a Merry Christmas here. Not hiding from the fact that yeah. Anyway. Great. Okay. Hey, everybody. Catch you in a week. Yeah. See you guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, everyone.